Here we have Paul. Paul is going to guide us through this resource DVD with a typical visit to a leisure centre. On arriving at the centre, Paul has an option of a number of clearly marked accessible parking spaces, which has both ground and raised signage. For ease of access for people with disabilities, these spaces are 1.5 times the width of an average car to allow for adequate space for opening of doors and a safe area to exit the vehicle. It is best to provide this extra space as means of a hatched area so people know not to park in this area. This safe disembankment area should be replicated at the rear of the vehicle. Here again we see the importance of this extra space. Once a person has exited the vehicle, it is important to have a drop-down curb for ease of access. The entrance to the leisure centre should be clearly marked from accessible parking bays. Here again we have another example of good practice. This space is again clearly marked, but as the exit is to the rear of the car, there is no need for a drop-down curb. Again, a clearly marked space, but with good ground and raised signage. Another good example, but as you can see, only drop-down curbs at the start and end of the parking bay. Another good example of a single parking bay with drop-down curb on the driver's side of the vehicle. Here we see a good example with drop-down curb with tactile area. These tactile tiles will provide a warning to a person with a visual impairment that they are approaching the parking bays. Here we have an example of poor practice. While the bay is designated for people with disabilities, it is clearly not big enough. The bay is not big enough to open the side door even in a regular sized vehicle if adjacent bay is occupied. As we can see here, when the ramp is deployed, it is dangerously close to the roadway. When ramp is deployed, it is not leaving adequate space for vehicles to pass by safely.